Sex Pistols, one of the world's most notorious bands ever, and the lead singer John Lydon, a.k.a. Johnny Rotten, rose as pop culture's most polarizing figure in the late 70s, which is really saying something given the Bee Gees status. And he carries that moniker to this day. The singer has just published another memoir, Anger is an Energy, My Life Uncensored, opening up about all the details of his sordid life and past. And hopefully future John Lydon joins me now.
All right. Drop the word sordid. There's nothing like that about my history. And secondly, there's two bands that I've been in, and you've missed the most important, which is Public Image Limited.
I know. But so people mostly know you for the Sex Pistols, though.
Well, they will if you just carry on ignoring the most poignant parts.
I'm glad that was such an important part of your life.
And I'm here to remind you.
Oh, me too, John. It's been so long. In fact, the last time we met, it was 21 years ago this month.
Ugh,
and we had this exciting exchange. Take a look.
Shut up and let me finish a sentence.
Oh, John, would you just relax? And he said, I'm not taking any more of this, you silly.
I'm fed up with it.
As soon as it happened, I was like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. That's true. I did say that. Remember when you tore the microphone off and left?
Well, you didn't seem to know how to hold a book, and nice to see you.
Oh, nice to see you too.
I hope you learned to read since. It might help.
Yes, I've actually been to college and written 2 books since then.
All right. Well, we're here to talk about Anger is an Energy.
We are, John. Thanks for redirecting already. I was very worried that
somebody's got to know what they're doing around here.
Yes, thank goodness. So, I like the book. Your writing style is it's very stream of consciousness.
Conversational.
Okay, did you record into a tape recorder and then someone transcribed it and put everything together?
There's a whole bunch of us involved to make sure that it flows exactly like the way I talk.
Yeah, you had a tough childhood. I mean, that's one of the things that I took out of the book, and I really felt for you. And you were very honest about your family and the difficulties and taking care, being the oldest of 4 boys and actually enjoying taking care of them. Did you have that role in either of your bands?
Probably. As lead singer, you do tend to be in charge. You're the man up front, and you're responsible for the imagery and everything around that. And in my case, in particular, the lyrics and therefore the content of the songs.
Yeah.
And I like what I do in both Pistols and Pill. It's very, very, very a part of my life. Songwriting, I don't think I could live without it. It's where I found myself, and I'm trying to explain that in the book, that, yeah, I had some serious problems when I was a child.
Yeah.
And I kept them secret for a long time. Well, not secret, but nothing that I wanted to waffle on about too much.
Were you ashamed of it? You had meningitis when you were 7 and spent a year in the hospital.
I didn't want the self-pity tag to come out, and I wanted to see if I could stand on my own 2 feet without any of that agenda coming into it. Now the road's clear, I can lay some of this down on you. So you understand that why I rely on people not lying to me is a direct part of my childhood illness.
Yeah, and you said for 5 years, from 7 to 12, you didn't have a memory because the meningitis had destroyed your memory, and you had to rely on adults to tell you stories, provide you with that memory, and tell you the truth, but they didn't always do that. So did that make you distrustful of authority figures and adults?
Not of the major figures in my life, which I later discovered was my mother and father. Yeah. And, of course, my younger brothers.
And your aunts.
There were aunts and uncles there that told lies that really, really hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, and, you said you had a strange family. The dynamic was sometimes static. You guys, you go for days without talking. But Malcolm McLaren, I mean, he was...
Wait. The biggest liars in my childhood were the school teachers. And a lot of them tended to be nuns. Yeah. Because I went to Catholic school. Now, I could read and write when I was 4.
I believe that.
And by 7, I'd lost my memory, which didn't come back 2 years later. I had to rely on what the nuns were telling me, and they were really extremely wicked. They didn't want me to be left-handed, which they viewed as a sign of the devil.
Yes.
Well, I am left-handed. I cannot help that. That is an act of God.
High five.
And Dummy Dum Dum was the name they would call me.
That's
and
awful.
That, quite frankly, is a lie. And they wanted to, like, beat it back into me to be right-handed. And that's my childhood memory of religion and how it all...
Okay, so there are two institutions, school and the church. I want to quickly, because we're running out of time, I want to touch on Malcolm McLaren, because this is someone that you obviously have active resentment for. You said that his intellect killed his instinct, that he'd start out with intuition, but he'd destroy it by overthinking.
You know, listen, the man was a coward. He never finished anything. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. I like to remember the good sides of him as a manager.
Yeah.
More importantly, though, he never finished anything and took credit for an awful lot of things that, frankly, don't belong to him.
Yeah. And what was the end of the band? You know, you said that as a lead singer you had to control it, but you were miserable by the time you came to America to tour in 1978. What undid that?
I loved America. I loved touring. I didn't like what the management was doing.
Yeah.
And so we ceased to function, and I delivered that final line, ever get the feeling you've been cheated? Which is exactly how I felt about the whole lot of them.
Yeah.
It's been hard, but we're friends since we stopped working.
Yeah.
That's how it works. And I've never looked back. Once I started Public Image Limited, everything has been absolutely splendid and fine.
Well, do you want to take off your mic and leave? Because we have to go.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye, John. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for all 30 seconds of it.
Well, it was more than that, but okay, go ahead. Take off the mic, walk away. The nightcap is next, and I'll reach into the virtual mailbag and read you mail.